Hello everyone, Pokenixie here and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make yourself at home and hop in on the ride to create a Poland-based Lecha region. It's finally time to reveal to you the final evolutions for our starter Pokemon. I'm really happy with how they turned out, so I hope you'll enjoy them as much as I do. Let's not waste any more time and jump right into this. Just like in both previous videos, we're starting with the fire type. With this evolution, I went for more of a snake-like look to lean into the true basilisk instead of a cockatrice. I positioned this mon in a way so that the glass on his head kind of looks like a crown from this perspective, because in Greek the word basilisk basically means the king of snakes. I also made some glass shards float around this Pokemon to show how it finally took control over the burden that it initially made Glassilisk's life a misery. Now it can use it for its advantage and truly become a powerful opponent in battles. Something I didn't realize is that I changed the type of wings that this evolution has had so far. But the feathered wings actually really fit this evolution way better than the ones of the wet variety, like in the previous evolutions. The feathers can also allude to the Aztec Quetzalcoatl. If you look at it that way, Pokemon is all about bringing in cultures from all around the world, so even in the Polish region we can also have some fun with that, don't you think? And I think that this is a nice introduction to this aspect in the Lecha region. Because come on, look at all the Pokemon, they are not all based on Japan, come on now. Also, really, feathered snakes are so cool. Anyways, let's finally reveal Miragon, the ignited Pokemon. Finally released from all the suffering, Miragon finds its true power. It realizes that pain is just an illusion and can only make it stronger. When focused, it's able to make that illusion a reality for those who dare to hurt it, or those who Miragon cares about. After the realization, it took control over the glass protrusion on its forehead and managed to manipulate it and use it in battle with telekinesis. So what do you think about Miragon? Oh my goodness, I had so much fun designing him, and I mean, blue shinies for fire types are always the best and I'm in love with them, so I really hope you like him too. But without further ado, let's move on to our water type. Next up we have a water starter. Because I pre-designed it in my notes on my phone, I had a rough idea in mind on how I wanted this evolution to look like. But at first I started drawing it from memory and it didn't work out as well as I wanted it to. So I scrapped the entire sketch and started over, this time closely but not entirely following my initial design, and that worked out so much better. Something I forgot to mention in the previous videos is the animal I based the evolutions on. Savarin is a baby seal. Mernetrap is a manatee, because in folklore, manatees were considered mermaids. See? It really works together. I really wanted the entire evolution to be based on a manatee, but I mean, I had to add fangs, which actually made the current evolution the walrus. I detached the shield on Savarin's and Mernetrap's chest, and made this evolution actually hold it. But I also left a mark on its chest where the shield used to be, just to show the progression of this line a bit more literally. In Mernetrap's design, there were 4 swords on its back, but in the case of the final evolution, you could speculate that it managed to pull out the lower swords and combine them into one, which it can now hold, just like Cubone always holds its bone. Also, I based the sword on the actual statue of the mermaid, but there's also yet another aspect that I based on the mermaid from Warsaw. Because in the previous evolutions, you also got a hint at the legs, which used to be conjoined, just like in the statue. Now the legs are also separated and form 2 tail fins.
You gotta keep them separated.
All of those details are here to represent liberation and freedom from everything that used to restrain the previous Evos. Also showing the growth of character in this line. Time to introduce it, shall we? Here is Blademaid, the unleashed Pokemon. Finally released from all the restraints, Blademaid finds its true power. It realizes that whatever holds it back can never take over its own potential. Instead, it can become its real strength. Proud and brave, always carrying an uplifting song for those who struggle. It is believed that the spike on its shield came from an ancient Blademaid's fang, which could mean that they could have been way larger and stronger back in the days. I really like the aspect of bringing history to Fakemon and Pokemon overall, just to, show the progression and everything. Like, how much the aspects from the past evolutions had changed to form this current form. And I'm really happy with how, in case of Blade Mate, it just worked so well. I had this in mind right from the start when I made Sawaren. But hey, there's one more evolution to go through, so let's move on to this one. Finally, there's the grass starter. Out of the trio, this was the first one for me to design because I had no clue what to do with this evolution. I had a few concepts in mind, but I didn't know how to combine them. All of that worry was for nothing though, because as I started sketching, all of the concepts naturally fell into place and helped me create a design that I'm seriously happy with. Where there used to be a crystal heart, there's now a heart-shaped hole in this Pokemon's chest, so it literally has an open heart for anybody. As a reference to the legend it's based on, instead of an imposter gremlin, now it became a real bear made of stone. Because Gnivik in the legend used to be a human, but when his sister came to him and, told him not to die and instead, turned to a stone bear. Jesus, I hate this legend. He literally changed his form to this statue. Also in the legend, he turned into a bear to wait for his true love to come. So in this Pokemon, now that he's become a real bear made of stone, he's now waiting asleep for someone to love. I also decided to reference Buddhism in this pose, since one of the virtues of Buddhism is the state of nirvana, which is an entirely emotionless and selfless state of existence. This Pokemon is a little bit like that, actually, so I thought this would be a perfect fit. Again, this is an introduction of different cultures entering the Lecha region, just to make things more interesting around here. Now, without further ado, let's reveal. Lovacant, Pokemon Nirvana. Finally released from all the heartbreak, Lovacant finds its true power. It realizes that whatever it feels can never make it lose control. Instead, it can validate the love it's able to share. Calm and collected, full of kindness and care, while being emotionally distant. The hollow heart in its chest is used to hide and protect those in need for a quiet space where they can rest from all the stresses of their life. And by anybody, I meant Pokemon specifically, because he's not that big to hold a human inside the heart. But I imagine, someone sitting on Lovacant's lap and just putting their head in the heart, where they can hear its heartbeat. That is calming and reassuring. Isn't that a lovely concept? I mean, tell me in the comments if you like it or not. To me, I would love to have a Lovacant to sometimes just space myself from everything that's going on that's really stressful and causes a lot of problems, just to have that little bit of an escape from reality. Just to, sit down, breathe, and listen to his heart. Wouldn't that be amazing to just have a Pokemon like that? So, here they are in all their glory. Bazitrus, Glacialisk, and Miragon for fire, Sawaren, Renetrap, and Blade Mate for water, and finally, a Dorsa, Biroken, and Lovacant for a grass starter. Which one would you choose and why? Can you relate to any of their struggles? Let me know down in the comments. Let's share our stories. If you ask me, out of all of them, I can mostly relate to Lovacant's and Blade Mate's struggles. Because personally, I went through many heartbreaks in my life, as well as I struggled with my own confidence for most of my life. It really felt like I was trapped in my own head, unable to find a release from my own insecurities. But hey, nowadays I feel so much better. I worked on the things that used to hold me back, and I also managed to take better control over my own emotions, because I'm also a very emotional person. I don't know if it's apparent or not, but it probably is. So, if I was to choose out of the two, I'd probably pick a Dorsa. It really reminds me of how I used to be, trying to fit in while not exactly fitting in, then going through many heartbreaks and lost friendships over the years through isolation, to now growing into adulthood and taking better care of myself and my own feelings, and also gaining new friendships and finding new love in my life. It's really been wonderful lately, and it really seems like my life is getting better and better each year. So, a Dorsa it is for me. Next up, I'm planning on introducing the first ghost types for Halloween. who will also happen to be the first case of gender dimorphism in the region, all of which I cannot wait to share. After this, I will be tackling yet another Polish legend, where I'll introduce you to a new, interesting situational concept that I haven't seen before in Pokemon, but could be really cool, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, like and subscribe and join me on a journey. Here are my socials, and goodbye. Oh, and also, here are some bloopers. There will be some strong language, so if you're not into that, or if you're a kid, just please turn it off now. Chwilkę, zapomniałam piwka. Przecież bez piwka nie nagrywamy, kirwa. Gdzie są moje klucze? Na zdrowie wszystkim Polakom! O Boże. Dobra, pora łyczek na dobry początek. Dobra, czas zacząć. Kiciać. To lean into the true basilisk instead of... Kurwa, dzwon! Piękne nagranie. I position... Mikrofon mi zasłania, ja pierdolę. Boże, jestem zmęczona. The feathers can also allude to the Aztec Quetzalcoatl. Next up we have a water starter. Because I pre-designed it in my notes on my phone. Kocie, kocham twoją pupcię, ale nie teraz, proszę cię, zejdź. Boże. Something I forgot to mention in the previous videos is the animal I based the Boże święty. Something that I forgot to mention in the previous videos in the Boże nie, jestem tak zmęczona. Specku, pomóż mi.